Hi mathematicians, this is Mr. Almeida. I hope you're doing well. In this video, we are going to talk about what positive and negative numbers are, including what the meaning of opposite sign numbers are. Okay, so the first thing I want to start out with is 0. 0 is appropriate that I'm starting out with that because 0 is known as the starting point. So anywhere you start is always going to be 0 because you haven't moved anywhere from that point. On the number line, we put 0 on the number line, and we put all of our numbers, our whole numbers, to the right. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 throughout all the numbers that we count to. We say that any number to the right of 0 is called positive. So any number to the right of 0 is positive on a horizontal number line. Any number that's above 0 on a vertical number line is what we call positive as well, okay? And on a horizontal number line, any number that's to the left of 0, we call negative. So any number to the left of 0 is negative on a horizontal number line, and on a negative number line, the numbers that are negative are below 0, Okay, so now that you understand the meaning of positive and negative, we're going to ask this question. Is 0 positive or is it negative? 0 is to the left or to the right of 0? It's neither. So therefore, 0 is neither positive nor negative. All right, let's get to the idea of how we actually write these numbers. So to the right of 0, we're used to dealing with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. But on the left of 0, if I go 1 unit to the right of 0, that's 1. But if I go to 1 unit to the left of 0, I can't label that 1 because 1 is already labeled on the number line. So we have to come up with a new system to name the numbers that are the same distance from 0, but are on opposite sides of 0. So that is where we come up with this symbol right here. This symbol in front of the 1 is called the opposite symbol. And that's where the symbol is coming from right here. It means the opposite of what the other, of what the number is. So opposite numbers are numbers that are the same distance from 0. Notice both of these numbers are 1 unit to the away from 0, but one of them is to the right, and if it's already labeled 1, the opposite symbol will tell us that this is 1 unit to the, what's the opposite of right? Left. So it's on opposite sides of 0. So this is the opposite of 1. Because this number just happens to be to the left of 0, we call this negative 1 because this is 1, which is positive. So the opposite of positive is negative. So we say this number is negative 1, but its real meaning is the opposite of 1. And what's the opposite of 1? What number is that? Negative 1, okay? So let's go down here. When you see this symbol, it means the opposite of. So we have 3. So we're taking the opposite of 3. That means go 3 units to the right of 0, but take the opposite of that, which is 3 units to the left of 0. So you start at 0, and you go 3 units to the right, and that's where we are now. And then we're going to go 3 units to the left of 0, which is the opposite direction. So 1, 2, 3. And that's why the opposite of 3 is negative 3. Okay? Now this works better with a visual, and I hope that my camera will allow me to show you this. Okay, so this works better with a visual, and say this is 0, the pen is the 0, and then we have 3 units to the right. If I'm going to take one opposite, it means I simply go on the opposite side of 0 once. So I go right here, and that's what number? Negative 3. So the opposite of 3 is one opposite. Let's go. We go to 3 first on the number line, and then we take one opposite, which is negative 3. Okay? All right, so now that we have that, we know what opposite numbers are. Let's talk about this now, okay? This says, let's do direct translation by reading the symbols in front of the number. It says the opposite of 3. So what I would do is I would start at 0. I'm going to do this in blue so you can see. I'm going to start at 0 and go to the number 3. And then I'm taking how many opposites of that? 1, 2. So I'm going to go like this. That's the first opposite of 3. And that's the second opposite of 3. Where do I end up? I end up at the number 3. So that's why the opposite of 3 is equal to 3. Basically what this means is the opposite of a given number is the number itself, okay? And there's a unique pattern that works here. When you have an odd number of opposite symbols, you're going to take the opposite of what that number is. So the opposite of 3 is -3. And when you have an even number of opposite symbols, it's going to be the number itself, because you're taking the opposite of, which is 2 opposites of what number? 3. So you go to the number 3 first, and then you take 2 opposites. 1, 2. And where do you end up? You end up at the number itself, which is 3. So just to recap the main points here, numbers that are to the right of 0 are called positive on a horizontal number line, and negative if they're to the left of 0. On a vertical number line, numbers are positive if they are above 0, and numbers are negative if they are below 0. We then get to this idea of what this symbol in front of a number means, which is the opposite of, which means go the same distance from 0, but on different sides of 0. And when you see opposite symbols, you will do just that. I wish you all the best, mathematicians, with this idea of positive and negative numbers, as well as the meaning of opposite sign numbers. And I wish you all the best in your journey throughout this unit in positive and negative numbers.